Hello YouTube, this is my second video of the day. I've gone weeks without making one and I'm making two in one day. But I've just got the time right now, and honestly the past few weeks have been extremely hectic for me and I just have not had the opportunity. So today I do, so today I'm going to share, and I just made a video about my experiences with this S15 magazine. If you're interested in that, watch that video. This video is going to be about my new, it's not new to me, honestly. I've had it for a long time, but my new preferred choice in my concealed carry, and how I got here and why I've made the choice I've made. It seems to be something that is very, important to people, especially people who are new to concealed carry. You get a lot of questions from people who are new to concealed carry about what they should carry. And I will just tell you my experiences and why I made the choices I've made. You need to make your own choices, and I'm sure there's a million different opinions because there's a million different pistols out there. But let me just give you just very short background. I came from federal law enforcement. I was in law enforcement for 27 years, 27 years with one agency and another year or two with a different one. And for most of that time, the first concealed carry gun I ever carried was a Beretta 92, which is a brick of a gun, and was never intended, I don't think, to be a concealed carry pistol. It's heavy and large and not particularly easy to conceal, but we did. You had to dress appropriately to carry that pistol concealed, and you had better have a good belt because it's pulling, and I did not enjoy concealed carrying that gun, but I didn't have any experience with anything else. So anyway, I carried that for a while, and then I changed jobs, and the place I went to work issued Glock 19s, and that was heaven to me compared to the Beretta 92. Much lighter, still 15 round capacity, shot different, but that was something I could get used to and did get used to. And it was just so much easier to conceal carry. But it's still a fairly large gun. And so off duty, I didn't really want to carry it, although I did at times, sometimes a lot, because my agency's policies on what we could carry off duty changed from time to time. And for a while, we weren't allowed to carry anything but the Glock 19 on our off duty. Then they allowed us to carry the Glock 26, and even began issuing some of us the Glock 26. And then for a while you could carry your own Glock 26, or you could purchase one if they didn't issue you one, and carry your personal one. And then they changed that again. I mean, it just changed several times. And then I got to a point where I was tired of that and wanted to carry something even smaller and lighter, although my agency did not give me authority to. So I just went out and got a concealed carry permit and carried whatever I wanted to under the authority of my concealed carry permit, not the authority I had through my job. And that was a personal decision. It never had any legal implications for me. Some people might not have been comfortable with that, but I was, and that's what I did. And my first venture into getting something small to conceal carry was not successful. I made a terrible decision. I was purchasing it primarily for my wife at the time. There was some things I was concerned about and felt like she needed to be armed all the time, and she wasn't used to carrying anything, honestly. So I bought her a little Smith & Wesson Bodyguard 380. I wouldn't recommend that pistol to anybody. I ended up selling it to a friend, and I told him he shouldn't buy it, but he took it to the range. I went to the range with him, and he shot it before he bought it, and he wanted it, and he bought it. But I recommended even to the person I sold it to not to buy it. I found that gun very difficult to shoot accurately, too small, just hard to get a good grip on, not much in the way of sights, and it's fine for just a few feet away, or very few feet away when you weren't really aiming, when just pointing and shooting. My wife had a difficult time even pulling the trigger because the trigger pull was so long and so hard that she would pull it part way and then have to shift her grip and pull it the rest of the way, and it just was a disaster. And I should have never bought that pistol. I bought it because it was small and light and easy to conceal, but it was a mistake. So I went from that to a Glock 42, which is another 380, and I don't have the Smith & Wesson to compare it to, but as tiny as this gun is, and it is tiny, it's still a good bit bigger than the Smith & Wesson, and it's enough bigger you could pocket carry the Smith & Wesson. This one's not so great to pocket carry. I bought a pocket holster for it, but even with the pocket holster, it was not easy to pocket carry, and I just ended up buying a holster for it, just a inside the waistband holster, and I did carry it for a while. My wife carried it for a while. She never enjoyed carrying that much though, and just kind of never developed a habit for it, as I wish she had. But regardless, I did carry this pistol for a while, and I bought some magazine extensions that added a couple of rounds to it, and carried it. 380, you know, I don't want to be shot with a 380. Is it as good as a 9? Probably not, but I don't want to be shot with it. So I figured it was at least some deterrent, if nothing else. And so I tried to do some research on 380 ammo and figure out what ammo would be the most effective to carry, and kind of forgotten about all that because I don't carry this anymore, and I have not carried this for a long time. I just went ahead and got a Glock 26. The biggest impediment on carrying the Glock 26 is the thickness. This is my 43, and if you put the 43 and the 26 side by side, they're almost the same size. I guess you can see that, but they are almost exactly the same size except for the width. And the Glock 26 is just fatter. And so it's less comfortable for me. I carry inside the waistband primarily, and it's just not as comfortable for me. But it's a 10 rounds flush magazine, or I bought an extension that added a couple of rounds to it. But mainly it's funny now because I've gotten such a big deal of carrying the 15 round in the 48, but I carry 10 rounds for most of the time in this, and I put a little pinky extension on them that didn't increase the carry capacity. It just gave my pinky something to grip onto. And I found that I shot this pistol about as well as I shot my Glock 19. A lot of people say you can't, and a lot of people can't, but I could shoot this as accurately as I shot my Glock 19. I put sights on it that I could see, and I shot it. And then they came out with the Glock 43, which is supposed to be near the size of the 42. I will tell you, it is bigger. It's not substantially bigger. It's just a tiny bit bigger. But I bought it and put an extension on it to carry a couple of extra rounds in it, see a theme there, and put sights on it that I like, and carried this a lot off duty, a lot, and very happy with it. It was much more comfortable for me to carry than the 26. Honestly, I don't shoot it as well. I don't. I think it's the thickness of the grip, and I'll talk about that in a second, but I practiced and practiced and practiced with it and got competent with it, but where I could shoot the 26 as accurately as I could shoot the 19, I can't shoot this pistol that as well. Still shoot it okay, but not as well. And but I just accepted that because there were times when I didn't want to carry the 26. I didn't mind carrying the 43. Then they came out with the 43X and the 48. And the 43X is the same size, the same slide length as the 43, just with a longer grip. It's the same grip that's on the 48. And I thought about buying a 43X, but I decided to go with the 48 for two reasons. And the first was, I thought that perhaps the slightly longer slide might give me a better sight picture and maybe a little more velocity and accuracy. I think that's probably so insignificant it's not worth worrying about, though. The second reason is because somebody pointed out to me that if you already had a 43 and you bought the 48, then you automatically had a 43X. And let me show you what I'm talking about. Take the slide off my 48, and I'll take the slide off my 43. I don't know where I have to go. And the 43 slide fits on the 48 frame. And so basically, if you already have a 43 and you buy a 48, you have a 48 and a 43X, because now I've got the 48 frame on the 43 slide, and it shoots perfect. I mean, they fit. It's fine. The only thing I give up when I do that, since I bought the 48 MOS, I give up my red dot. I wasn't sure if I liked the red dot or not. I'd never shot a pistol with a red dot, and at first I wasn't, it didn't seem that beneficial to me. But then, after I used it for a little while, and I've shot a lot more through it, I have decided that the red dot is definitely for me. My eyes are not as good as they used to be. I wear glasses now. I went most of the vast majority of my life with no need for glasses, and then I needed mostly just for reading. But the reading distance is important because that's where you are when you're trying to line your sights up. And it was very difficult. I had a hard time focusing on my rear sight, or on my, or focusing on my front sight, focusing on anything that close. And so anyway, I have found that the red dot eliminates that issue. And it's taken some practice to get used to that. But now, I don't want to shoot anything but this, to be honest with you. This is just so much easier for me to shoot. I'm as accurate with it as I was the 26, which doesn't make sense because the grip is the same width as the 43, but it's longer, and maybe that length is what makes the difference. This gun just feels so nice in my hand. The 43X, of course, would feel the same way, but I'm going to carry it like this. I'm not going to carry it with the 43 slide on it because I don't mind the extra length. It's down in my pants when I'm carrying anyway. It's not a problem. It's not that much longer that it really makes any issues for me carrying. It's mainly the width that's the issue, and the grip length, and I like this grip length. And so this is what I'm going to carry exclusively from now on. And I'm very happy with it. I have a Swamp Fox red dot on it, and some people have asked about the Swamp Fox because I guess there's been some complaints about it. It's the only red dot I've ever used. So I don't have experience comparing it to anything, but I practiced with it a fair bit now, and I'm very happy with it. Maybe if I had a different one, I might feel differently, but when I bought this red dot, this was the only one I could find available at the time. There was a shortage on everything, and there's not that many red dots made to fit this slide. most of the red dots are for wider pistols, and I didn't want to. There's adapter plates and stuff, but I didn't want anything like that. I wanted something that fit like it was supposed to fit, and this was the one I could find, and I have no complaints whatsoever. I bring it up and I see the red dot right away, and I get it on target. Shooting with the red dot was kind of humbling at first because the dot moves if you move, and I found that I wasn't holding as steady as I thought I was holding sometimes. It looks steady in your with just looking at your sights, but when that red dot, boy, it at least for me, it lets me know if I'm not rock solid on the target. But this is it, guys. I am very happy with this pistol. Probably would have been just as happy with the Glock 43X MOS as well. If you have a 48 or a 43 and they're not MOS, there's other ways to get a red dot on them. You know, some people just have the slide milled, or there's plates you can put on there. You know that may work fine for you. I wanted to make it as clean and install as possible, and for me that was to buy the MOS pistol to begin with, and then buy a red dot that was made to fit it, and I have been very, very happy with that. As my other video was exclusively or primarily about these Shield Arms S15 magazines, and there have been some people who have problems with them. I'm not one of those people. I've had no issues with mine, with my Gen 2, and if you choose to buy one, I would just say just test it thoroughly. But I've had absolutely zero issues, and I've run about 500 rounds at the range in a 2 or 3 different range sessions. I've put a total of about 500 rounds through this, and not have had any failures to feed, not any failures at all. And so I have no qualms about carrying it. And I also will carry as a backup, the stock magazines that hold 10. So now the mistakes I made, buying a pistol that was too small. It's hard to shoot, which was the Smith & Wesson 380 Bodyguard. I couldn't recommend that to anybody, honestly. Then I bought the 42. It's easier to shoot than the 43 because the 380 kicks less, and they're both such similar size. But, and this is the only Glock pistol I've ever had a lot of trouble with. I sent this one back to Glock because it wasn't feeding ammo reliably, certain ammo reliably. They replaced practically every part on it and sent it back to me, and under warranty. It didn't cost me anything, and it still does. It feeds more ammo than it used to, but it still doesn't feed every brand and every. It's mostly to do with the shape of the bullet, and so if it's got a sharp edge on the bullet, if it's not nice and rounded at the front, it doesn't feed in this pistol. I can shoot ammo with a similar profile in my 9s, and they feed it fine, but the little 380 won't, even after going back to Glock. So I just found ammo with a nice curved round front on it, and of course the ball ammo feeds fine, but when I'm shooting hollow points, I had to have something with a nice curve on the front of the hollow point. If it was more of a pointed bullet, which some are, those wouldn't feed. But anyway, that's the only issue I've ever had with a Glock not feeding properly. I hope this has been helpful. Let me know what you carry and why in the comments. I'd love to hear it. I'm not interested in debating or arguing anything. I have friends that hate Glocks. They wouldn't carry a Glock for anything. Let me just say, the reason I chose Glock is because I carried one for 27 years, 5 days a week at least, and was just very familiar with the operation of a Glock. And I didn't want to carry something different off duty in the evenings or whatever, that would require me to shoot it differently, to disengage the safety or you know, just I'm really big believer in muscle memory, and I just wanted something that operated the same way. And I know that other pistols, there are other pistols out there that operate the same way, but it was also just my total familiarity with the way they take down, the way that you clean them, just everything. I like to keep my life as simple as possible. I'm a simple guy, and I just wanted to be simple. Like these videos are extremely simple. So anyway, that's it. I hope you guys have a great day, and thanks for watching.